Have you ever scrolled through your feed and noticed that one friend, that one person who's just a ghost? No selfies, no vacation photos, no updates on their life. It's like they don't exist online. You might think they're shy, or maybe they just don't have anything interesting going on. But what if I told you that's not it at all? What if their silence isn't a sign of weakness, but a profound display of strength? Today we're diving deep into the psychology of the digitally invisible. We're going to decode why some people choose to stay offline, and it's not because they're hiding. It's because they've cracked a code that most of us are still trying to figure out. They understand that in a world screaming for attention, silence is the ultimate power move. We're going to break down the 5 core psychological reasons they never post their photos, and by the end of this, you might just see your own social media habits in a completely new light. This isn't about shaming those who post. It's about understanding the quiet confidence of those who don't. Let's start with the first and perhaps most powerful reason: control. Think about it. The moment you upload a photo, you lose control. That image is no longer just yours. It's out there for anyone to see, to screenshot, to judge, to misinterpret. It becomes public property in a sense. The people who opt out of this aren't afraid of being seen. They simply value owning their own narrative. They do not need 100 likes to validate their new haircut, or 1,000 views to confirm they had a good time on vacation. Their self-worth isn't crowdsourced. They define themselves on their own terms, privately. This isn't about being paranoid. It's about being sovereign over your own identity. In an age of digital overexposure, they've recognized that privacy isn't just a setting, it's a form of power. They are the sole curators of their own life story, and they choose not to publish it for mass consumption. This leads us directly to the second reason, which is a fascinating psychological concept: the self-perception filter. Psychologists often talk about our 3 selves: the actual self, which is who you truly are; the ideal self, which is who you want to be; and the social self, the version of you that you present to others. Social media throws these 3 selves into a blender. It pressures us to perform our ideal self, creating a carefully curated highlight reel that often has little to do with our actual day-to-day reality. Authenticity becomes a performance. The people who don't post recognize this game and simply choose not to play. They would rather be genuinely, messily real in their private lives than project a flawless but fake image to the public. They understand the profound difference between being authentic and performing authenticity. Their life isn't a brand to be managed. It's an experience to be lived, away from the pressure of an audience. They are more invested in their personal growth than in their personal brand. Now for our third reason, something many of us desperately need: the attention detox. Every notification, every like, every comment, every view, it's a little hit of dopamine, a chemical reward that makes our brain feel good. Social media platforms are engineered to be addictive, training our minds to constantly seek this external validation. But what happens when that validation becomes the primary source of your happiness? You become dependent. Some people recognize this cycle and intentionally step away. They're performing an attention detox. Their goal isn't to be popular, it's to be at peace. Their happiness isn't measured in engagement metrics, but in moments of genuine, quiet contentment. They've discovered that true fulfillment doesn't come from being seen by everyone. It comes from being centered within yourself. In a world that screams, "Look at me," their silence calmly states, "I'm okay without you looking." The real flex isn't being famous online, it's finding peace offline. The fourth reason is rooted in a fundamental human need: the safety instinct. Now, don't confuse safety with fear. This isn't about hiding under a rock because you're scared of the world. It's a conscious, strategic decision to protect your peace and energy. Maybe they've been burned before, judged harshly, had their words twisted, or seen their privacy violated. Or perhaps they simply possess the wisdom to know that not everyone in the world has good intentions, and therefore not everyone deserves a front-row seat to their life. Psychologists call this avoidant self-presentation, a deliberate choice to prioritize well-being over social exposure. They are curating their audience, and that audience is an intimate circle of trusted individuals, not thousands of strangers online. They've learned a crucial lesson that many of us learn the hard way: Your inner peace often disappears the moment your privacy does. They are not building walls, they are building a sanctuary. Finally, we arrive at the fifth and most intriguing reason: the power of mystery. In a culture obsessed with telling all, showing all, and living life out loud, what becomes the most valuable commodity? Mystery. The less you reveal, the more people wonder. The less you post, the more your presence in the real world feels significant. What's rare is valuable. Thinkers and deeply confident individuals often use silence as a filter. It's a way of signaling that their world is not open for public tour. Their absence online makes their presence offline more potent. It says, "My life is full and rich, and I don't need to broadcast it to prove its worth." Their silence isn't empty, it's selective. It's not a sign of weakness or social anxiety. It's a strategy. Their lack of posts speaks far more loudly and compellingly than any perfectly angled selfie ever could. It communicates a quiet, unshakable self-assurance. So to recap, why do some people never post their photos? It's not because they're insecure or have boring lives. It's the opposite. They exercise control over their identity. They prioritize being real in private over being perfect in public. They detox from the need for constant attention to cultivate inner peace. They protect their energy as a matter of safety and wisdom, and they harness the magnetic power of mystery. They've understood a fundamental truth that our hyper-connected world often makes us forget. You don't need to be seen to be significant. You don't need external validation to be valuable. Attention is fleeting, likes are temporary, but inner peace and self-respect are lasting. They aren't invisible, they are simply and powerfully in control. Real, deep-seated confidence doesn't need to post for proof. It just is. What do you think? Did this change your perspective on social media? If this resonated with you, do me a favor and hit that like button and share it with someone who might need to hear this. And I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. Are you the type who posts everything, or the one who prefers to keep people guessing? There's no right or wrong answer, just different approaches to navigating this digital world. And if you're interested in exploring the psychology of our online lives further, make sure you're subscribed, because our next video is all about the hidden cost of oversharing, and you won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching. Stay curious and stay grounded.